So good afternoon and welcome to this interview. Once again, we have with us Reverend Christopher Toole. He's the Secretary General of the Liberia Council of Churches, and we always use those opportunities to speak with them. Those who come from the religious background or in the religious sector. We also speak with politicians and people from the civil society as we are about to witness again another peaceful transfer of power from one democratically elected government to another. We saw it when President Salif turned power over to the current president, President George Weah. Then his time of 6 years of regime has come to an end. He's going to be turning over the power to the president-elect, President Joseph Boakai, who again will lead Liberia for another 6 years. And we've come to speak with Reverend Toole to just tell us exactly. We're going to be speaking on two things, looking at the current formation of the legislature and the transition. How does the council see that? What can the council tell the incoming government? What are those things that we can remember the outgoing government for in terms of governance, the rule of law, and then the working of the council, that is the church and government and so on. So Reverend Toole, welcome to this interview. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you very much. And for correction, I want to inform you that the office is the General Secretary.
Okay.
And not Secretary General.
So it's General Secretary, not Secretary General, as I said.
Yes.
Also the General Secretary, of course. That's great. Okay, so how you doing?
By His grace, we are okay.
Okay. I mean, let me ask this very special question. I'm very much sure the council is concerned about the governance of Liberia. The council is also concerned as to how the three branches of government, will cooperate with each other. I mean, in terms of good governance. We had the legislature. Currently, the 54 dissolved. The 55th is now in full swing. They conducted their leadership elections. Basically, the Senate conducted its election to elect the pro tempore of the Liberian Senate. And the House of Representatives also conducted elections to elect Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. Just tell me your own, maybe from the council standpoint or your own perspective, how do you look at the formation of the legislature, the leadership of the legislature, ranging from the Senate to the House, in terms of good governance, balance of power, political affiliation? How do you look at it?
Thank you very much. I think Liberia, we are trying to get to the place where we have a government of participation. Because our constitution calls for maximum feasible participation in government processes. And so at the level of the national legislature now, you see the Liberty Party, which is a political party in our country, has now extended especially agenda that is for the first time at the female as a pro tem.
The second time, we had Chris Manor.
Chris Manor, okay.
Yeah.
Chris Manor. So for the second time, so we have Namikanga Lawrence, and then, but she comes from I can say, from the opposition bloc, the Liberty Party, and then you also have from the CDC, you have both Councillor Kofa and Thomas Fada from the CDC. So I think there's a balance. There's a balance. You have the opposition. The opposition right now is leading in the legislature. In the judiciary, also, if you see the judiciary was appointed by the previous government, and it has to do with a tenure age. And then you have the executive that come in. So now it requires a balance of negotiation in the interest of the country to make sure that the right things are done. So it's not like one person takes all. So I think it's on the good footing, and let us see how it works. in the interest of the Liberian people, and because one of the things the Liberian people have been raising is the issue at the legislature, because the legislature is a representation of the people, and if that body is not really advocating for the people and making things right for the people, the executive that is the implementer will always do the wrong thing because they can influence the first branch. So let us see the balance there. Let us see where the negotiation take place. Let us see where the lobbying take place for the interest of the Liberian people and not for personal interests.
Great. So what is the difference that we can see with the current legislature, the current leadership of the legislature and the past, that is the 54th, with the terms of happenings there? What can we say? What's the difference? What was wrong with the 54th that cannot be wrong with the 55th?
The 55th has not started yet. We cannot start to judge them in the absence of their performance. But what we see in the 54th, one person took it all. You had a speaker from the CDC, the deputy speaker from the CDC, the executive from the CDC, and even the judiciary from the CDC. So it was the ruling party that took it all.
Okay.
So the whole issue of where you have the balance of negotiation in the interest of the people, in most instances, it was difficult. Now there's another, it's a turnaround where you have at least the ruling party and the level of the executive, but then you have the opposition at the level of the legislature. But there are another component of the ruling party that that has been supported, is supporting the ruling party in the legislature. But then you see, even with the senators and the representatives, the ruling party does not have it all. Okay. So there's a mixture, and with even independent candidates. So we look forward to where there will be reasoning, reasoning. So with the mindset of the president of what she wants to see that we're moving forward with, we think there are people in the opposition also who will have a mindset in terms of moving further, and will be able to sanction those good things that will come forward in terms of recommendations in changing our country.
Great. So, in terms of the leadership formation, it's a kind of balanced system where you have representation from both the opposition and the ruling party. Great to hear. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the event on Monday, the inauguration. Firstly, is the council invited officially?
Yeah, we got a letter of invitation.
Okay.
From the government.
Yeah, thank you.
We got a letter of invitation from the government, and so we will be there.
Okay.
We are also participating in the Thanksgiving service that will be on Sunday. So we will be there also. Forward to that better collaboration and cooperation in the year to come, and we hope that this government will see the civil society, the religious community, the business community, and all the different other actors to be prime actors in terms of governance in our country, as opposed to what we been having when we observed that the civil space was a little bit closing. So we envisage that this term, the civil space will be more open, where there will be a lot of engagement, a lot of participatory, reasoning into the governance process.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the outgoing government. What can the council say about the WEA government, and what a message to President Joseph Boakai as he takes power on Monday? So we'll start with the outgoing government. What can we remember the George Weah government for, and then what can we tell the incoming government in terms of leadership? Yeah, we have some, sorry for that, we have some difficulty with the noise from the background, so we apologize for that. That is why you see us. All right, yes, so I was asking in terms of, I mean, what can we say? I mean, President Wiaten is, I mean, he gives up the chair on Monday. And then Omen Boga comes in. What can we remember the Boga government for? And then Saturday we are government for, and what can we say to the Boga government as it comes into power?
Okay, I think the we are government came as another experience into political space where there were a lot of anticipation from the citizen in terms of change. We has not been a politician, of which he himself mentioned, and has not been a part of the conflict in Liberia. On the best person to reconcile the Liberian people, of which the Eric Johnson Sirleaf mentioned in her last speech to the legislature that she failed in reconciliation, in reconciling the people. And so there was this expectation of the Liberian people that this outgoing government was going to do a lot of reconciliation. It could have not been perfect, but at least it could have started on some good footing. Another component was to be able to fight corruption. You know, when you have your predecessor leaving and stating that this is where I failed, you need to look at that failing card and that, you know, that red mark they had, and see how you can change that red mark, you know, to either a blue mark or a green mark. So dealing with corruption was another issue of challenge. And this government, there was a high expectation that this government was going to deal with corruption, but then it turned on the other side. So people have to be placed on sanctions and all those things where some of the indicators that led to, you know, the change of this government. And I think it's something that this Unity Party government, under the leadership of Joseph Boakai, will be able to look at very keenly. That these are some of the mistakes that the CDC government made, and how can we improve on those mistakes and change, you know, and change the dimension of the political space and shift the paradigm into the right direction.
Great. You'll be at the ceremony. You'll be, I'm sure you attend. You'll be seated.
Certainly.
What's the message you want to hear from Boakai? What kind of Liberia you want to see? What's anticipation? What do you think you're going to talk about?
When I listen to Ambassador Boakai, when he speaks about love Liberia. He speaks about think Liberia and build Liberia. And that resonates with me, that to love a country is not an easy thing. To love a country, it requires a lot of effort, a lot of mindset. So, and as you reflect on the country, when you're thinking about a country, that means you will have a reflection about this country. When it was, you know, established, what it has gone through, what has happened to this country, where we are now, and where we're supposed to go. And that will help you with the love that you have to build a new Liberia. So he usually speak and end with that, you know, love Liberia, think Liberia, and build Liberia. And I think if he means what he says, we will start Liberia, will start on good, you know, a good footing, and then leadership after him will be able to set, you know, set the pinnacle in terms of movement and how it swings, but make sure it swings in the right direction, and it don't create any obstacle.
I'm sorry to ask this question, but let me ask you. During the campaign, I mean, the council was accused of being, I mean, alarming with the Unity Party. I'm sure that was something you just look at, and I mean, politicians would think that way. Most time when government come into office, you are accused of taking side. What do you expect?
With the opposition.
With the opposition.
Yeah, it usually happen, and especially when the sitting government does not take advantage of the opportunity. Actually, the sitting government always have an opportunity to work with the religious community, the civil society. But when you don't take advantage of the opportunity, you always see them as an antagonist, as an enemy, of the government. But they are not. They are your friends. They are your partners. So you need to be able to work with them, engage and work with them. But wherein you start looking at them with different lens, then eventually you are taking yourself down, the slaughterhouse. You're going to slaughter yourself for nothing. Because the people in the religious community, they have the work to do. They will continue to speak the truth. They will continue to engage you. So whether you like it or not, they will say things that you are not happy with. If you involve in ritualistic killing, they will preach on ritualistic killing. If you involve with corruption, they will preach against corruption. Whatever you involve with, they will preach on it. Does that mean you should not stay talk to them? The answer is no. They should be your partner. They should be people that you should engage and follow and say, these are some of the problems that we have. How can we move on with the problems that we have? Because religious community also are not ignorant that the country does not have, problem or challenges. So I just want to get that clear.
Finally, as a close-up, the last time I had an interview with you, talk about this kind of not really cordial relationship with the outgoing government that you had. What can you say in terms of relationship, that collaboration, that coming sitting on the table to have dialogue, to discuss issues about the country? Because, like you said, the religious community itself has its own way of thinking about how the country should be run, how the government should conduct itself. On the other hand, the government has a political agenda. So, what would be your call to President Boakai in terms of relationship, in terms of mitigating problems?
I think we President-elect Boakai have started on a good footing as compared to what we experienced with the CDC government from President Weah. And President Boakai was able to open his door to meet with the religious community, to even go and congratulate him.
Okay.
And that was welcoming, and although officially we need to meet with him when he takes office, and that which will happen, he stated to us that he will work along with the religious community. He acknowledged that. He feels that the religious community is a body that he required in terms of moving the country forward. So we know that Ambassador Boakai will do that, and whoever he brings to his office and the chief of office staff, I think he will work along with the religious community. So, and especially when you come from, he's also, the previous president was a member of the Council of Churches, but he did not take advantage of the opportunity, that he had. And so most of the time, we are not stopping you from engaging with other church leaders, but when you have your constituency is also doing as you go out to other people to work along with them. So Ambassador Boakai is for the Baptist Church, now the Baptist also is president of the Liberia Council of Churches. So there's an opportunity. So if they want, they can make use of the opportunity. If they don't, they will get the same thing that the previous got, not in terms of antagonism, but in terms of making sure that the voices are heard. The voices are heard, and we speak the truth. So if there's anything, we are open to work along with the government. As our president stated, we are partners, and we are open to partnership. We respect Rule 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals that talk about partnership, building strong partnership. And so they're available to make sure that partnership is sustained. So we are available to work along with this government. We avail ourselves to work with the past government. And so whatever happened is a lesson learned for all of us. And let's see how we gravitate and change our country and move forward despite of some of the challenges that we faced during the past years.
Thank you so much, folks. So her name is Christopher Toh. I've been speaking with him, Reverend Toh. Thanks for giving me this short time, a few minutes of your time for this very brief interview. Thanks for being there.
Thank you too. Yes.
All right, folks, so thanks for joining us. My name is Prince Moba. I've been in this very brief conversation with Reverend Christopher Toh. He's a General Secretary of the Liberia Council of Churches. He's been speaking with me. Thanks for following. Bye-bye.